So picture this, on a cruise ship, the Caribbean sun is shining, the steel drums are playing, I got my glasses on, and a tall glass of whatever you can think of in my hand. Life is good. We're docking in St. Thomas and everyone is rushing to grab their beach bag, ready for an adventure. And as I was standing there soaking in that gorgeous water, I hear a deep metal sound. It sounded like clunk and it sounded like clunk, clunk. So I looked over the side of the ship and see the anchor dropping. And right there, in the middle of the laughter, music, and chaos, something hits me. I thought to myself, so this entire ship, thousands of tons of steels, hundreds of people, restaurant, pool, and all this fun and freedom is being held steady by one anchor? I looked at the anchor. It's not even flashy, it's not loud, it's not even visible once it sinks. But it's the one thing that keeps the ship from drifting away. And I remember thinking, wow, this is exactly how marriage works. You can have fun, you can have laughter, and all the best intentions. But my friend, if you're not anchored, you will drift. You will drift. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lola Agosu. I'm an ICF-certified coach who helps couples and individuals build a stronger, deeper, and more meaningful relationship. Now, I specialize in relationships and transformational coaching. And honestly, I love helping people reconnect, not just with one another, but with who they are called to be. And that day, watching that anchor drop, I realized that's exactly what I help people do. I help them find what keeps them steady when life starts to pull them apart. Here's one thing about drifting. It's very sneaky. You don't even feel it when it's happening. And that's how most marriages drift. Not from explosive arguments that are coming up or betrayals from maybe probably temptations or infidelity, but from slow, quiet distances. You get busy with life. You get busy with kids. You get tired. You start doing life side by side instead of heart by heart. And before you know it, you look up and think, I think we still love each other, but we've so drifted apart. We don't even laugh at the things we used to laugh at anymore. But today, I want to talk about how to stop that drift. How do you build a marriage that stays strong and steady and anchored no matter how rough the water gets? Let's start by defining what an anchor is. An anchor is simple, it's heavy, it doesn't move. Its only job is to hold you steady when the waves get wild. Honestly, in marriage, you can control the wind. You can even control the water. But one thing you can control is whether you drop your anchor or not. And that's what keeps a marriage from drifting. It's actually not about perfect conditions, but consistent anchoring every time. So in today's episode, we'll talk about 4 major anchors that can keep your relationship from drifting apart. The first anchor is the anchor of pulling God in. I call that the anchor of God's presence. The second one is the anchor of God's promises. The third one is the people you surround yourself with. And the fourth one is the anchor of the purpose of which your marriage was created. Well, by the end of this message or this podcast, you'd have a new household phrase. When life gets messy, when tension rises, when you start to drift apart, you will look at each other and say, my dear, hold the line. Because sometimes the best thing you can do for your marriage is simply hold the line. Stay steady and refuse to drift. Let's talk about the first anchor. I call that the presence of God. And I refer to it as the GPS in the storm. Let's be real. Every couple has had the arguments before. And you know what I mean. The one that starts with, where do we eat? Or where do we want to go? And somehow it finds itself drifting to, do you even love me anymore? You don't even remember what triggered this argument. But suddenly the ship is rocking and it's an explosion of disaster. And in those moments, we're usually trying to win an argument. But wait, what if it's not about winning the argument? What if it's about anchoring yourself? Because the truth is, storms will definitely come. And if you haven't had one yet, oh, lovebirds, don't worry. Your cruise is coming. The storm and the waves will come. Okay, let me share something funny with you. One time, me and my husband were having a pretty passionate discussion. Okay, it's not passionate. It was a full-blown argument, and I wanted to win that argument. But right in the middle of it all, my husband just stopped arguing. I thought to myself, well, now he's out of words and I'm winning this argument, and he probably gets it right, that I'm always right. No, that's not what happened. He bowed his head and he started praying. And just like that, that argument was over. Because prayer changes the atmosphere. Actually, once you invite God into the situation, things start to change. God's presence changes pressure. For example, in Mark, the disciples were on a boat in a storm. The waves were actually wild that day. The boat was filling. It was just a rush of water and they were freaking out like we always freak out. And Jesus was in the boat. He was just sleeping. They went over and woke him up and said, "Don't you care if we drown?" Jesus gets up, calms the storm, and basically walks away. "Why are you afraid? I'm right here." That's the anchor I'm talking about. God is in the boat of your marriage. Peace is in the absence of waves, is the awareness of who is with you through them all. So my friend, next time that tension rises, one of you should say to each other, hold the line. Yes, that's your signal. Pause, breathe, remember who is in this with you. You'll be surprised how fast that phrase changes the tone of things. And trust me, when you say hold the line, it's hard to yell when you're smiling about it. Let's talk about the second anchor, the promises of God, the rope that holds you together. Let's be honest, emotions and feelings are like waves. They rise, they clash, they pull you together. And if you're not careful, they pull you apart too. 1 minute, you're gazing into your spouse's eyes thinking, oh, I married my soulmate. And then the next minute, they're breathing too loud and you're like, God, help me to stay one more time with this guy. That's why we need something stronger than feelings. When things don't go right, we need God's promises. When you said for better, for worse, that wasn't poetry, my friend. That was prophecy. That's a calling to stand and hold the line when the storms shift. Because storms will always show up eventually. It might even look like stress, illnesses, exhaustion, parenting chaos, or infidelity, lack of money. That's when you grab hold of the rope. Those truths that don't move no matter how hard the waves hit. What am I really talking about? I'm talking about an anchor Bible verse. For example, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Love never fails. God that has begun a good work in you will complete it. Those are not just cute verses, they are anchors, my friend. You and your spouse need an anchor verse, a promise you hold on to when life gets real. The best time to prepare for your promise verse is before the storm hits. Because when feelings fade, faith and God's promises hold the line. So what's your promise anchor? Let's talk about anchor 3. That's the people you surround yourself with. I call them my harbor crew members. When the storm hits, even the strongest boat needs an harbor. When sailors come back from rough waters, they don't fix their ships alone. They pull into a harbor or a safe place where other boats help them refuel and repair. That's what I call a community. No couple should thrive alone in isolation, and that's where marriage starts to break. But a lot of us try to do marriage solo. We post highlight reels, smiling pictures, date nights, or captions. But what people don't see is the argument about 5 minutes ago before the selfie they took. My dear, we all need people who will stand behind the filters, people who will pull us towards faith, not foolishness. So think about your crew members. If you come to them to vent and they say, girl, you deserve a better man every time you vent, that's not your harbor. You need people who will say, let us pray. Let us believe together. Let me help you fix this. Anchored, they don't sail alone. They sail together. Again, anchored marriages sail together. So my dear, find your harbor. Find your mentors. Be someone's harbor in the storm. Help someone out today. Okay, let's talk about the last and final anchor, which is purpose. What keeps you going in your marriage? Actually, every couple needs a why. Because when you forget your why, you start asking, why bother? Marriage isn't about being happy only. It's about being selfless. It's about learning to outdo each other in love. It's actually a reflection of God's love. It's a living story of grace, forgiveness, and growth. Your marriage isn't just a relationship. It's actually a lighthouse that beams. It stands strong, not because there are no storms, but because it's built on a solid rock. You know what? Maybe your purpose is raising grounded kids. Maybe it's actually mentoring younger couples, like I said. Or maybe it's building something that blesses others. Maybe it's actually building an empire. I call them power couple that will bless lives around you. Whatever it is, that's your light. So when life gets rough, remind each other, we're not just married, we're on a mission. We don't just have this. If you don't know your purpose, please find it. Make sure it's a phrase you both agree to. Actually, purpose gives meaning to the mess around you and direction to the drift when it comes. So, my dear, let's go back to that cruise ship in St. Thomas. That sea that day was calm. The sky was clear. Everything seemed so perfect. But the captain still dropped the anchor. Why? Because, my friend, calm seas can change so fast. Have you ever had a moment of laughter only for one silly argument to change the atmosphere and you start fighting again? It happens a lot. Anchored couples know that emotions and feelings can fail, so they remain steady because God's presence, God's promises, people, and the purpose for why it's created will hold you steady in the storm. So when life gets messy, don't panic. Just don't jump ship. Just stay together and say to yourself, hold the line. When storms happen, you do what? You hold the line. When stress holds you down, hold the line. When temptation comes, hold that line, my friend. Because anchored love doesn't drift, it endures. Don't just fall in love, anchor in love. I'm so glad I could spend this time talking about relationships with you. If this made you laugh, think, or remember where you started from, share it with someone who needs that reminder. And remember, love that lasts doesn't just float. It's hard work. It stays anchored. So glad you can laugh a lot. Laugh with your spouse. Love so deeply. And whatever happens in your marriage or in your relationship, hold that line before you think of separating.